Hello, welcome to the West Ham Way YouTube. Myself, Mark Carlaw, and Riley Finch. Riley, mate, we've got Wolves coming up now. Huge game for West Ham. David Moyes in particular as well. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him for this match. I mean, it's kind of a stupid question, but this is a must-win, isn't it? It's got to be a must-win game for us.
Well, we're on our fourth must-win game in a row, mate.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
I don't know. What even is a must-win game anymore? I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, we're in such a crap position at the moment, and I think it's not even necessarily a must-win. It's just a must-perform game. Like we have to perform well. We have to look like we're at least, having some sort of change since the Everton game. I mean, it won't be hard, but we just need to improve on it. Like we can't go out there and crunch out and grind out a 1-0 sort of win against Wolves. I don't think that solves anything. We've got to show something, at least show a bit of a better play style. And number one thing we need to see is Souček dropped, and number two is at least a change of formation. Maybe a little switch up on the tactics or something. We West Ham fans, we've got to see something in this game that's going to tell them that David Moyes can turn it around. If he just chucks out the same 11, we grind out a 1-0 win, I honestly think that solves nothing. So it's not even a must win for me, mate. It's a must perform. It's a must change. Like, it's a massive game. It could be Moyes' last game in charge, to be honest.
Do you know what, mate? It's going that way. I agree. I think you're actually completely right there. I think it is a must-perform game. I think the fans have seen a really stale start to the season. We ended last season pretty badly. Let's be honest. We weren't in very great form, apart from the odd performance here and there. But ultimately, we were pretty poor towards the end of last season. Pre-season's been very bad. Not seen any decent performances over pre-season. And all right, there are some elements so far this season of bad luck. It hasn't gone our way, and probably deserved a little bit more. And so I do think it's like the table was slightly harsh on us a little bit at the moment. But that being said, that Everton performance didn't warrant anything. I don't think we deserved it much out of the game. Draw possibly, but
not even that.
Yeah, we weren't great. We were very poor overall. Again, I think, like you say, I think it's the performance and it's the energy. I think we want to see a bit of oomph about us, because I don't really know what's going on with West Ham at the moment in terms of that. We seem very flat. We look tired. We just don't look ourselves. We don't look like the team from the last 2 years. Nowhere near it. I think you're right. I think this is a game where if we don't perform and we don't get a result, and that doesn't happen, let's just say we do lose the match, I think David Moyes is going to be under immense pressure. I mean, I don't think he'll be sacked immediately. I don't think that would happen just yet. But I would think if we lose this game, then the clock will be ticking big time.
But if you're GSB and I know a lot of people have said like he hasn't had the team to work with or anything, but he's just had a week's break where, if I was David Moyes, I'd sit at my table and I'd reassess everything. I'd say, who's not playing well? Where's the problems in this team lie? What's going on with it? And then I just sort of think to myself, what can I do to change it? And, it doesn't take a bloody scientist, mate, to figure out you need to take Souček out of midfield.
Yes.
We need a little bit of a fresh approach, whether that's a 4-3-3 or, I know you're a fan of the system, stick with that and then maybe just go for Paqueta as an 8 or something like that. He's had a week to figure out, what's gone wrong. Like he's had time.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been 2 weeks by the time the Wolves game actually kicked off. So he's had 2 weeks to kind of reassess and see what's happening. If I'm GSP and I just see the same 11 coming out again, it's like,
no,
you're out of ideas, aren't you? You've got to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I hate saying that about David Moyes because of what he's done with our club and how brilliant he has been. But like Declan Rice has said it, we've said it on here before. History is so what? It's in the past. We can't just keep looking back and going, well, you did well last season. It's kind of irrelevant now. It's like, it's great, but we really want to keep pushing on. I do think he's probably owed him, he's given himself a little bit of time because of that. I think the club aren't going to be sort of looking to get rid of him immediately. But you're right. I mean, and to be honest with you, what's frustrating about the whole thing, like you say, it doesn't take much to work this out. It's a case of dropping players that aren't performing. It's pretty much straightforward as that. Jared Bowen has been very poor this season, and he hasn't hit form. He will come back into form. We know that he's a very good player, but he's obviously going through a bad patch at the moment. He needs to be dropped. Souček has been poor for over a year, very, very hit and miss. And I thought against Everton he was atrociously bad. So he has to be dropped. I mean, even those two changes, even if you stick with Antonio up front, which I actually don't think you should do. I think you should have Antonio as more of an impact sub. Personally, I think that works quite well. But even if you just made those two changes, to say we're going to put Flynn Downs in the middle next to Rice, and put Cornet on for Bowen, I think we'd change the team completely. I think it'd be a fresher approach. Ben Rama, I think, needs to be included. I think he needs to be starting. He's proven enough times this season he needs to be in the starting 11. He makes it happen, as far as I'm concerned. And I think that's it for me. I think if you make those changes, I think you'd see a different West Ham. I think it'd be a real fresher lineup. And I think you'd see the ball moving around quicker. I just get that feeling that's all it's going to take. And that's Moyes' problem, though, isn't it? It's this. He's got a real issue with trust and with certain players. He wants to stick to the players he likes and trusts. And I just get this horrible feeling, mate, that we're going to see the same lineup. I really do. I've got this feeling that Souček will be starting, and I think Bowen will be starting. I can see a very similar lineup to the Everton game. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I hope Moyes proves me wrong. But just knowing Moyes and how he operates, just kind of, and how we've been used to him over the years now, I can just see that happening. Do you know what I mean? I really can. But yeah, we'll see.
Mate, there will be a mushroom cloud over West Ham Twitter if, like, they'll break the servers if Souček starts that game. I mean, I almost want to see it just to imagine what it would be like. There's no way. I mean, he will though. That's the thing. But there's no way. Like, you just can't. You can't start Souček after all of that. I mean, that man, 85 minutes into the game, that backwards pass, doesn't even run back to get it. Like, he doesn't. He knows he's playing shit as well. He doesn't care anymore. You know, he's fed up with himself. Everyone else is fed up with him. Rice is clearly fed up with him. He's just got to get benched. He's got to get back to his form. I don't know what he's got to do. I know he's got to go for a rural trip back to, the Czech Republic and, eat potato salad or something. I don't know what he's got to do, but he's got to do some sort of, really big central course.
Soul searching.
He's got to do some soul searching, mate, because what I'm seeing right now is not the Thomas Souček that came to our club to start with. And he's got to take a really long, hard look at himself and think, why am I underperforming this much? And Moyes has got to take an even harder look at himself and think, why the fuck am I playing him every week? So,
yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. I mean, we brought these players in, we brought in some fresh faces, and I actually think the newcomers have started well. All right, not all of them necessarily. Some have got to find their feet in that, but it's just Moyes is so reluctant, isn't he? He's so reluctant to make changes to the side. He's got those players he trusts, and obviously Souček falls in that category. I don't know why he falls into that category of a player he trusts, and he doesn't want to change things up. At the end of the day, if he's going to be stubborn and stick to his guns and say, no, I'm sticking with Rice and Souček in the middle, I'm sticking with Jared Bowen, and this backfires, then it's on his head. I mean, at the end of the day, he must know that there's immense pressure.
That's how he'd want to go out, though, isn't it? He'd want to go out with, like, well, this is my 11, and I've always stuck to it. I'm going to keep sticking to it. And if I get fired for doing it, that's fair play. I'll get sacked because of it. I feel like that's how he'd want to go out. He wouldn't want to be like, oh, West Ham Twitter says I'll start Downs, so I'll start Downs. Like, he clearly wholeheartedly believes that Thomas Souček is a better footballer than Downs. And he obviously believes that, Paqueta should play in a 10, even though he played in an 8 yesterday for Brazil and played really well.
Yeah,
he didn't know that from me.
And do you know what, mate? I was about to bring that up to you. That's a very good David Moyes impression, by the way. He sounded just like him. But yeah, I actually agree. I saw that, and with Paqueta playing as the 8, and again, that just jumps out at you. Moyes should be looking at that and going, right, that's the answer straight away. I mean, even if you're not going to, because he's obviously got a massive vendetta against Downs for whatever reason, then drop him, play Paqueta there. Then you know what I mean? You cannot play Souček in this match. I mean, he cannot be played. I mean, he's been so poor, and that performance against Everton just was so bad. Yeah, I agree, mate. Moyes is very stubborn, we know that, but I think now the time has come for him to realise that he has to sort this out because there's a lot of pressure on him. There's no doubt about it. There's big pressure at our football club now. West Ham aren't the same as they used to be. And I'm talking even in recent history, even under GSB. We've got a new shareholder who waves a lot of power at the club. And then you've got, on top of that, he's brought in some new board of directors in over the summer. This is a very different football club now. And then they've just handed him 170 or 180 million pounds to spend on players. So there's no way they're going to be sitting back, relaxing over this. I'm sure they're very anxious and very keen to see what Moyes is going to do. If he pulls out the same team again and we play badly, it really could be curtains for him. It really could be.
Interestingly, mate, bit of a weird question. If we did chuck out the same team and we win 3-0 and we suddenly look back to our old selves and we look amazing, do you think that's actually a good result for us? Do you think that's temperamental? Like, honestly, I think if we win 3-0 with the same Souček, Bowen, and all them sort of lot in there, I still don't think that's a good thing. I think we need to just change it up and then win.
I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, the most vital thing for the game on Saturday is 3 points. I know what you're saying and saying, but will that be is that going to really solve the issue? For us, I think at the moment we just need a lift. The club need a decent performance and a result. If Moyes decides to play the exact same 11 that played against Everton, they come out and smash Wolves on Saturday, then I really genuinely think fine. Then maybe he's proved us a point, but I don't think that will happen. I'd be very hard to imagine that actually happening. Moyes has to make some changes as far as I'm concerned. I think everyone can agree on that. He has to be ruthless now. Start playing players in the right position. Start playing the best players you've got at your disposal. Stop just sticking to loyalty and people you trust. It doesn't matter. Just play your best players. And start. At the end of the day as well, we've got some talent on that pitch now. Paqueta needs to be utilised properly. Scamacca the same. We need to work systems that are going to work. I'd like to think that this, I'm sure he's done some soul searching himself this week, Moyes, and have been thinking, how he's going to get around this because he knows he's under pressure, mate. And he's had enough time to be working on it. I would be stunned if he plays that exact same team, but you just know that's how he tends to operate. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, mate. It's going to be very interesting. I've got to ask them, mate, and this is a painful one now this week because obviously,
Not so clear.
what do you
Don't
think
ask me, mate. I'm not. I couldn't even begin to tell. I have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, we might see the same West Ham side and we get done 2-0. I mean, Wolves aren't. I mean, let's talk about Wolves themselves, our opponents. They aren't exactly in great goal scoring form themselves.
No.
They have bought Mateus Nunes, who we were interested in the summer. Really gutted we didn't get him. He's a really top class midfielder. Guedes, we're going to struggle against. We really struggle against like direct forwards that just sort of come towards the goal. And if Fabianski's starting, he's got a terrible sort of history of low-driven shots. But they're not in a great sort of state themselves. I think Nathan Collins also got sent off against Wolves, against Manchester City last weekend. So they're down a defender. I mean, it's a good time to play them. They're not playing well, but then often those sorts of teams that aren't playing well, they tend to get their massive must-win game against us, such as Everton last week. I think they'll be playing a 3-back, so could be a good time to trial out the 3-back, go like for like. Moyes likes to do that when he plays sort of teams that play 3 or 5 at the back. But mate, prediction-wise, I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I don't know what to say. I mean, if I'm going,
you're going to have to say something, mate.
I know.
We're all excited to hear the positivity from Riley Finch this week. What you got for us, mate? What have you got?
I'm sick of being how. Do you know what? Yeah, we're winning 4-0. I don't care. Fine. I was going to say 1-1, but you know what? If you're gonna put me in that little box of negativity, then I'm just going to say 4-0, just to appease everybody.
Oh, fair enough. I'm going to go with 2-1. I've been leaning towards 1-1. But I just got this, I've got to be positive. I've got to try and think, no, it's home. I mean, look, at the end of the day, David Moyes is under massive pressure, has to win some games now. And really, the next run of fixtures are a gift to him, really, in a sense, because you've got a few games now that are all winnable. Yes, there people will go, well, yeah, you've got to play Fulham. That's a tough game. There's no easy game in the Premier League. They're all tough. But ultimately, we should be beating Wolves. We should be beating Fulham. And that's an opportunity there to get 2 wins back-to-back in the spin, get us up 6 points on the board, and we'll suddenly be sitting mid-table, and everyone will be feeling a lot better about life. So this is a great opportunity for Moyes to save his West Ham career here. And he's not stupid. He knows that. So, yeah, I'm going to edge towards a 2-1 victory. And before we go, mate, pre-match event as well. The West Ham way are hosting O'Neill's before the game. I will be there, giving it plenty, which I'm very much looking forward to. And we've got James Collins as well as a guest, which I'm thrilled and very excited about. Which and what we'll do is on this video we'll show a link at the bottom where you can purchase tickets, because I think we've literally only got a few left now. So that should be very good. Harry and the Chicks are playing as well. Band, I don't know if you know them, mate.
I would have been excited to come myself, but unfortunately I am working, so not even able to watch the game. I honestly thought work was like, do you want to shift on Saturday? I was like, is that the Wolves game? Yeah, I'll take it, mate. I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
No, should be quite exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited, mate. Yeah, come on, West Ham. Got to be done. Come on, David Moyes. Thanks for watching, everyone. Cheers.